Welcome, SofTappers!
Are your eyebrows turning gray?
Here's how to fix it. Gray can be an aging color, which is why probably a lot of people don't really want it as part of their makeup, their hair. In the beauty industry, it's not a color that's as desirable. It is a color that we see, unfortunately, in permanent cosmetics.
Why is it there? Why are things gray?
Because of this one little ingredient, carbon black. That color is very strong. It was put into permanent cosmetics because of how strong it is, how permanent it is, how black it is, and for the fact that it doesn't turn red. But what it does turn is
Gray.
So unfortunately, it's not perfect. The other thing that's unfortunate about that is that while red, permanent cosmetics has faded to red, it's very sheer. It usually can be covered and blended. The carbon black is more opaque, so it's a lot harder to cover. That carbon black is way more difficult to correct than the red is. So actually, it was a solution to a problem that kind of made a worse problem.
In the past, in history and art, carbon black has been used for a long time. It's actually the result of burnt wood. It's soot, it's ash, and it's very permanent. It was used to dye clothing. It was used for Puritan clothing. It was used for cave paintings. It's had a lot of uses over the years. Trouble is that although it looks really cool on top of the skin, underneath the skin, it tends to age gray. Quite quickly.
And because it's so strong, actually, it outlasts the other ingredients in your pigment. So that carbon black is going to be there at the end of the line, where the other colors, they will fade over time. For brow colors that have carbon black, the light brow colors, you're going to end up with a light gray over time. And for the darker brow colors, you're probably going to end up with a dark gray over time.
So how do you fix it? Good news, you can fix it.
You can definitely fix it. If you're a client who has gray eyebrows now, what you really need is a permanent makeup artist who's experienced in color correction. They know how to change your gray eyebrows into brown eyebrows.
A lot of times they can do this pretty quickly. You can do it in 2 or 3 sessions. It depends on how harsh that gray is, how dark it is, how opaque it is. Technicians, you're going to want to go into your color correction experience and go from cool to warm. Warm up the cool color. So light grays are probably the easiest to fix. If they're kind of light, they're kind of translucent, you could probably just cover them with a really warm carbon-free color. And I want to emphasize carbon-free colors for correction on grays, okay? You do not want any carbon in the color you're using to fix the gray.
That's why you're in this mess in the first place.
Don't add more to the problem. So for light gray, you're going to want to use a carbon-free warm color. Something that is very yellow, orange, or red looking. That's going to be amber or caramel. You get a nice kind of sandy brown sugar look when that's healed up.
For those medium grays that are a little bit darker, you are going to need to go in with a correction aid. So like I said, orangeade, that's our preferred color for correcting grays, medium grays. You're going to want to saturate both eyebrows really, really well, so that way they look orange. You're also in the same appointment going to go over the eyebrows with a new brown color from the warm palette still, because we want to make sure that we're really canceling that gray. And then your client should heal a nice neutral brown. Our favorite colors for that are going to be copper, cocoa, chocolate truffle, or you could even use Cafe Vienna, which is in the neutral palette, but it's definitely a warm neutral. So it's an acceptable brow color to use for a medium gray correction.
For dark grays, you're actually going to want to get those with orangeade twice. So you're going to get it with orangeade the first time, really saturate it, cover it, send your client home with orange eyebrows.
They got to heal with it.
They have to go home with orange eyebrows for probably about 4 weeks. And you can put kind of a color mask over the eyebrows when you're done, just to kind of make them not look so orange.
A good trick is to use actually the Recoverall. Do a really thin layer, and then you just paint. Don't implant the other brow color, just so that way they don't leave with orange eyebrows. It's still going to be orange underneath that, but you create a barrier with the Recoverall.
That orange is needed to fix the gray. Okay, it's really, really important that you have that orange in there. When they come back, then you're going to get it with orangeade again. Then you can use a new color on top, if it got in there. If they come back and you see that it didn't get in there, then you have to do orangeade again. As a technician, if you have experience in correction, you're going to know what this looks like. So do the orangeade as many times as is needed for you to neutralize that gray completely.
And if you need to, we do have salmon, which is actually one of our scar camouflage colors, but it is a nice like light orange. You could use that alternatively to orangeade if you have a really dark, stubborn gray and the orangeade doesn't seem to be doing enough for you.
After you've gotten it mostly neutralized, then you can go back in with a dark warm color like Royal Fudge. I like to use this one to correct gray or blue eyeliner.
Oh yeah.
That's a really good color for that. Or you can use German chocolate. That's also a really nice dark warm color.
So that is how you can correct gray. You can just use one of your warm colors or a correction aid if you need to, but how does it actually look after you've done it?
It looks really good.
Yeah, it looks
really good.
Honestly so much better.
Way better than gray.
Yeah, and right after your clients are usually, they're relieved. They feel so much better when they leave your office. To get that warmth in there really gives a more youthful look, a more natural look, and who doesn't want that?
Exactly. That's why we're here.
Conservatively, we usually say that your correction should last maybe around 2 to 3 years. We have seen them last much longer than 5 years or maybe even more than that, but we've also seen the flip side where they've not lasted as long, maybe a year or 2.
So can it come back? Unfortunately, it can.
Yeah.
That carbon black is a very fast retort. It really tends to stay in there. It's very stubborn. So if you're a client, you're thinking about how to deal with this, it does kind of become like a maintenance program. You'll want to have that looked at once a year and have some warm color applied. You should really be your own advocate and make sure to insist that a carbon-based ink not be used on your eyebrows.
Because you're just going to add more gray and you just work to get rid of that gray, right?
Don't add more to it.
Carbon on top of carbon is more carbon. So let's avoid that. And for technicians, for those clients that have gray eyebrows, you really should consider using a non-carbon pigment as well. So that way you're not adding to that issue.
If you need a good carbon-free pigment, SofTap is carbon-free. The entire line is carbon-free. And we've got a lot of great range in cool, neutral, and warm color. When it comes to carbon, it's just a big carpet bomb of color. It's extremely permanent, which is why it's very popular. But just because something's permanent doesn't mean that it's permanently awesome. It can go from really awesome looking to, you know, oh, that's a little cool looking to, oh, it's a little gray looking to, oh, it's really gray looking. So just be a little careful with that. Watch how your color is aging, make adjustments.
Consider the impact that it's going to have on your client over a long period of time. We've actually seen the impact of carbon black just because it used to be a really popular ingredient in the 80s for permanent makeup. Over time, it tends to look more blue, and we've even seen problems with migration when you see a higher concentration of carbon black in a pigment or an ink. That history has shown us that maybe we should avoid that ingredient.
Technicians, you should also understand how to correct not just gray eyebrows, but all colors of eyebrows. You don't know what's going to walk in your door.
And you will have things walk in your door. That's just part of permanent makeup. If you don't really know how to do color corrections, you should check out our online class at SofTapTraining.com
and discover the secrets of color theory, receive personalized guidance from SofTap masters, and explore various techniques to expand your correction skills. Engage in practical hands-on exercises and become part of a vibrant artist community all online. This class is more than just fixing your basic color theory. It's a journey of expanding your skill set. Enroll today and watch your color correction transform before your eyes.
Correction is your friend. Color correction is important to learn how to do. Even if it's not a true correction, if you're just shifting color, that's important to learn how to do too.
That's all we have for now. Make sure, as always, you like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about us. Let us know if there's anything else that you have questions about.
We've been in this industry for well over 30 years, and we're happy to answer any questions that you have. And until next time,
Happy tapping!